Nightmares are complicated. I'm grateful I don't have very many of them, but when I do, I'm sharing a brief, relaxing, calming, grounding sequence that I do if I wake up with a nightmare and I want to soothe myself back to sleep for sweeter dreams. If the nightmare is not too bad, I may do just part of this sequence on my bed. But if I need to separate myself from my bedroom to alleviate the fear of going back to the same frightening dream, I'll get up and go to another room. Also, if you sleep with a partner, you'd probably want to get up and go to another room. Doing these on the bed, if someone else was in the bed, might be a little bit disruptive to their sleep, and we don't want to do that. So, the first thing I do is put my feet flat. I lean my knees in toward each other. I like to actually touch my knees together. And I cross my arms across my chest and hug myself. Sometimes this is all it takes. If the nightmare isn't too bad, sometimes I do this for a few minutes and go back to sleep. Sometimes I combine hugging myself with a simple pranayama, equal breath or samavriti, 1-1 breathing. Quite simply, however long your inhalation is, you make your exhalation the same length. If your inhalation takes a count of 3, your exhalation should take a count of 3. If your inhalation takes a count of 2, your exhalation should take a count of 2. You get the picture. My next pose is supported pose of a child. Pose of a child is one of the most relaxing, restorative poses in all of yoga. If you make it a supported pose of a child, it's even more relaxing and restorative. To do supported pose of a child, you're going to want to use some pillows or a bolster, whatever you have around the house for your support. I'm just going to use a couple of pillows because that's probably what you would be using if you don't have a yoga bolster. So this is just 2 pillows, one on top of the other, and I'm going to get on my knees. I'm touching the sides of my big toes together. I'm going to sit back on my heels, splay my knees apart, and then I'm going to fold forward over my pillows, turn my head to one side, and do my equal breath. I can switch and turn my head the other way. Sometimes I like to put my arms on top of the pillows and rest my forehead on my arms. Do any of y'all have dreams you'd like to share with me? I'm going to share a dream, but I'm going to stick it on the end because I know a lot of people, it's a pet peeve of theirs for people to tell them their dreams. But I'm going to share my most recent nightmare, but I won't do it until the end. So if you don't like listening to dreams, you don't have to. Pose of a child is suppose you go to if you've got a painful low back. It'll immediately take you out of pain as long as you stay in it. So there's value to pose of a child, even if you're not using it to soothe you after you've had a nightmare. Let's move on to legs up the wall. Another extremely relaxing, restorative pose. You're going to want to put your hip, sit next to your wall you're going to use. Put your hip next to it, and your heels are in toward your body. Then you turn toward the wall and extend your legs. I have my hips a little bit away from the wall because this is the easier version. If you have your hips right next to the wall and your legs straight up the wall and you find that's uncomfortable, you can just scoot out a little bit away from the wall like I am, and it'll be easier. If you need something under your neck, something under your head, put something there. A rolled up towel, a small pillow, whatever you have. You could even put something under your hips. That's going to make the pose a little harder, but I'm trying to show the easiest, most accessible variation here. This is very relaxing and restorative. It's good for swollen feet and ankles. It reduces the swelling in your feet and ankles. It improves your circulation of your blood and your lymph. There's other benefits. You might want to use this pose even if you're not using it to soothe you following a nightmare. We usually do this pose right at the end of my public classes. This is extremely popular with the people who take my public classes, and many of my class participants tell me they use this before they go to bed at night. Right before they get in bed, they do pose of a child and legs up the wall. These two, especially combined with the equal breath, it takes you to the relaxation response pretty quickly. Whatever you need to do in legs up the wall to be comfortable, be sure you're comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to be able to relax. As soon as you have done the hugging yourself, the pose of a child, and legs up the wall, and have yourself well established into the relaxation response, very slowly and gently get up and get back in bed. Don't open your eyes any more than about halfway. Try not to expose yourself to very much light. Get straight into bed. Close your eyes and go right to sleep, and you will have sweet dreams. Okay. My nightmare that I had most recently, I went to sleep one night and I dreamed that I was on the other side. And there were some very kind, loving entities there. I think there was 12 or 13 of them. They were very gently informing me that all of my vital organs had stopped working during my sleep and that I had died and I was on the other side. And I told them that's fine. I'm okay with that. Just direct me to where the yoga is going on. And they looked at me and said, "Oh, there is no yoga. Would you consider switching to golf? We have golf." I tried to hide my horror at that thought, and I asked, how do I get another body? If I don't have a body, I can't do yoga. I've got to get another body. And they told me, generally speaking, you do not get another body or another physical existence for at least 100 years after you've died. I was so upset at this thought that I realized I was dreaming and woke myself up. Very grateful to realize I was still in my body and I still have a body and I can still practice yoga. So that's my most recent nightmare. That one wasn't a bad nightmare. I only had to put my feet flat on the bed, lean my knees in and hug myself, do the breathing, the 1-1 breathing for a few minutes, and I was right back asleep after that one. I am as fascinated by dreams as a lot of people are offended by having to hear them. If you would share a dream with me in the comments, I would be so flattered. Share your dreams with me. I love to hear people's dreams. So that's our yoga for tonight. If you have any nightmares, look this video back up and watch it again. This sequence has served me well for many years, and I think it'll serve you well too. I hope you have restful sleep and sweet dreams. Keep watching my videos. Leave me comments. Tell me what you'd like to see, and I'll consider producing it. Scoop all this sweet yoga up. Pull it down to this physical body. Keep it with you. Namaste.